Hey, what animal has way too many legs, venomous jaws, and makes my skin crawl? You guessed it, centipedes. Now, these weren't my most favourite animals, but I've done some research and the things I've found are fascinating. I can't wait to share them with you. Myriapods, that's centipedes and millipedes, are part of an ancient lineage of invertebrates. Some of these guys were scuttling around with the dinosaurs. We have quite a few species that live here on the farm, so let's go try and find some. I'd like to say this is going to be easy, but you just never know with animals. The first thing we're going to look for is millipedes. The weather's been wet and there's lots of wet timber, and usually you'll find millipedes out and about. Looking. Ooh, millipede, where are you? Where are they? You can see the middle of this log is rotting, and that's the sort of stuff they like. Just try on this next bit here. Ah, here we go. There's a few. Look at this one, creeping around. Now these are millipedes. Look at that. These guys, much slower than centipedes. And that's because they don't need to escape predation. These millipedes taste disgusting, and even now I can smell them and I can tell that they're producing some kind of chemical which would make them really bad tasting. So they're not at risk of a bird or a lizard coming down and snapping them up. As they grow, they shed their skin, which is why this one is a pale colour. He's shed his skin and his current skin is hardening up. Even though he's at risk at the moment, being very soft, he's still happy to be out in the open because he's just that awful to eat. Wow, that's one myriapod species ticked off. Now let's see if we can find a centipede. They do bite. The best way to find centipedes is to flip logs, rocks, bark and old tiles. This is one of my favourite activities, so I often come across those little critters. This is quite a good spot. This tin's been down for a long time, so I know it's going to be dirt underneath. And it's been quite wet, so a lot of the centipedes have come up out of the ground and they'll be under here. So we might have some luck with this bit. Nothing there. A second. Nothing under here. But the last bit, this is a good bit, so. Oh. Hey, look at that. Come on. A little bit scared. Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't think I've felt the panic like that for a long time. That is a big, beautiful centipede. They are amazing creatures. Now, I'm usually pretty game to pick up anything, but there's just something about centipedes that gave me the creeps. It's the large number of legs, each with a little tiny spine on the tip, and it's the very painful bite that they can deliver. Now, I've just grabbed a millipede out so we can look at the similarities and differences between these two common myriapods. Now, myriapod comes from the ancient Greek and it means 10,000 legs, which is a bit of an overstatement, but centipede, you can guess. Centi means 100 and millipede, milli means 1,000. So millipedes tend to have many more legs than centipedes, but never 1,000. Now the difference between these two, what you'll see if you look closely, is that a millipede will have 2 sets of legs per body segment, whereas our friend here, this big scary centipede, only has one. They both breathe in the same way, in that they have little holes in the sides of their body called spiracles. They're both segmented, and they both use a pair of antennae to detect the world around them. You can see this little millipede is bobbing away with his antennae, and you can see this centipede is tapping them on the ground to try and find out what's going on. You can see on the back end of the centipede these long extended legs. Now they're called the ultimate legs, and those legs are used in mating and courtship, but also as a threat display. So if something is coming to eat them, they'll hold up their two back legs like antennae, and then if a bird or something grabs those two legs, thinking they've grabbed the head, then the rest of the body swings around and those two pincers grab. Almost like what happened to my thumb just then. He's coming out. You big scary beast. Now, these myriapods that I've found in my garden are fabulous, but I want to show you something really amazing. It's a creature from the Pilbara. It's a creature from my nightmares, and she's just inside in the lab. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the Duchess. Da, 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 da. This is my pet centipede, and she's one of the biggest centipedes I've ever seen in Australia. Her scientific name is Scolopendra morsitans. Morsitans means that bites, and the only other species that has that name is the tsetse fly in Africa, and they really bite hard. One of my favourite things that I've learnt about these creatures is they have an incredible maternal instinct. While this animal is a savage hunter, they are also an extremely tender and loving mother. When they lay their eggs, and they don't lay many, up to 20 or 30, the mother centipede will wrap around them very carefully, and then every day she carefully takes each egg between her legs and grooms it with her mouth parts, gently licking each egg to clean off any bacteria or mold that could be growing. Then, when the babies hatch, and there could be up to 20 or 30, she continues to wrap around them until they've molted a few times and their skins have hardened, enough for them to go off and be alone in the world. These centipedes, you see that she has these beautiful long antennae. When they hunt, they cruise along the ground, moving their head left and right, scanning for food. And if they run into something, their big antennae will sense the food item, and then they very quickly grab it with all their legs. With the first set of legs, the front legs, these are actually modified into powerful jaws. And when she puts her head up, you can see these little jaws here. They pinch and inject venom into the little animal that they've come across, which could be a mouse or a frog or a gecko or a spider or a cricket. Anything they come across, they'll bite and eat. While the venom is highly neurotoxic to the prey item, it also contains a lot of enzymes. And these enzymes start breaking down the food item before the centipede has actually eaten it. So by chewing up the prey item, the centipede works these enzymes into the flesh, which digest the flesh, and then the centipede just drinks it up like a straw. A delicious cricket smoothie. Ugh. Now, the Duchess is my pet centipede, so instead of eating snakes and lizards and mice and things, she eats crickets, and I buy those at the pet shop. And we'll just see if she's hungry now. And I'm not sure she will want to eat. Oh, there you go. She can't resist. There you go, she's eating it. What will happen now is Duchess will use her pincers to crush up the exoskeleton of the cricket, all the while pumping that venom into the prey item, and that will digest the prey item, and she will just drink up all the juice. Let's leave Duchess to finish her dinner. I hope you enjoyed meeting her. That's all for today. Until next time, as always, stay wild. I'm out in the bush searching for stuff, and I need you to search out the like and subscribe button for Henry's Wildlife. Stay wild.